one of the more phenomenal offensive players for this Maryland team. He's Jon Donville, and he's with us now here on GCR. Jon, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Dude, there's so much that I want to cover with you. You are fascinating, bro. Let me start with this. You came to Maryland from Cornell. It's funny when I was reading about you coming to Maryland for academics. I'm like, yo, he was at Cornell. You come to Maryland, you get in the Merrill School. That's serious journalism, man. Was journalism always something that you thought you were gonna be interested in? Tell me about the background there.
Yeah, so that kind of started when I was, a kid, and came up through kind of the sports, side of things, and just thought that media would be a really cool kind of business to be in, and I wanted to do sports. I wanted to, be credentialed into games, and get to watch all these really cool events and kind of cover them from that side of things, and I looked at some other stuff while I was an undergrad and some other careers, and then I kind of came back to the journalism thing kind of my junior, senior year, and kind of realized like this is what I want to do.
Wow, man. You're a podcaster now, too, on top of that?
Yeah, so I'm working with a podcast called Back of the Bird, and I'm working mostly right now as kind of a producer, more of kind of an editing role, but it's with two lacrosse guys, two professional players who have interviews on every week, and learned a lot about editing and producing and social media and all that kind of
That's
stuff. So
awesome.
it's been a really cool experience.
So tell me about the goals, because obviously there's a big difference between like being a beat. You're gonna be playing lacrosse moving forward. I'm just guessing, right? Like I'm guessing that's part of the plan. So is the idea, hey, I'll do that, and then maybe I'll do some of my own shows, media work, or like, do you really want to become like a traditional sports writer in the future?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is I'm not exactly sure right now. Obviously, there's you know, as I hope to have a professional career as a player, that certainly takes me out of some of the kind of more traditional
Right.
media roles. But it's kind of trying to evolve and trying to see the way I can hopefully leverage my status as a player into some media opportunities and just kind of staying nimble like that, and then finding ways to do more traditional things on in times when I'm not playing.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. I wish you tons of luck. But obviously, there's a little thing we got to deal with beforehand. Of course, being you trying to win a
Yeah,
national championship. Jon, how have you guys avoided the letdown all season long? How is it that you haven't had one clunker of a performance?
yeah. I think it comes from preparation and certainly leadership from seniors. And obviously I wasn't there last year. I think for guys who were here, certainly losing the national championship game the
Mm-hmm.
way they did, I think that was a big motivator. Obviously I wasn't here for that, so I kind of have my own motivators with I didn't get to play last year and
Yep.
that kind of thing. But I think that was probably the biggest piece of it, and guys knowing that they were so close last year and didn't get to have the experience of winning it, and I think that kind of carried us through. And then certainly I think Coach Tills is the best kind of game planner I've ever seen, and gets us prepared for every game in an elite way, and he does a great job of making sure the guys are ready and making sure everyone has the information they need going into a game.
Jon, I was talking to Coach Tillman last week, and I was kind of running this by him. Like, how do you keep these guys loose? Like, how do you. Does the pressure of carrying undefeated and to your point, yes, you weren't part of it, but you know what the rest of these guys are going through after coming up a game short a year ago. Like, how do you keep that from getting to you? All of the pressure that you guys have to feel game in and game out while you're riding something like this.
Yeah, I think I don't think we felt a lot of pressure this year. Honestly,
Wow.
I think we've kind of just been trying to be the best version of ourselves that we can be. And, I think one thing that helps with that is just treating every opponent. And I think that's something Coach Tillman does really well, is treating every opponent, like they're, going to come into Maryland Stadium and smack us around kind of thing. So, I think we prepare, Coach Tillman does a good job of preparing with a great deal of humility for games. And I think that has kind of helped us avoid the letdown.
Maryland Princeton Saturday 2:30 up in Hartford. He is Jon Donville. He's with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Jon, obviously you knew like what you were getting into when you came to Maryland, and you knew they were really good. There's a reason why they were so close, a goal away from a national championship a year ago and a perfect season. Did you know how good? And I know that sounds like kind of a dumb question, but I hope you understand what it is that I'm asking. Like, it's one thing to be good; it's another thing that teams have not even been able to stay close with you guys and competitive. Did you realize when you signed up that this team had a chance to be that type of special this season?
I'm not sure I did. I'm not sure anyone who tells you they did would really be telling the truth. You never know until you start the season, and obviously we have guys who are like Logan Wisnauskas who are kind of proven commodities, but we also have guys like Ajax Zapatello who didn't play a lot last
Mm-hmm.
year, who's now stepped in and been really really outstanding this year, and obviously had a great game on the weekend. So it's been cool to see those guys kind of rise to the occasion and, obviously to join in and just try to kind of do my job and pull the weight as best I can. That's kind of been my focus. So, I knew that, we were going to have a good team. I knew we were going to have a chance. Obviously, you never know until the season starts how it's actually going to go.
Was there a game this season where it like hit you? You're like, oh my god, we're a wagon. Like, did you have a moment like that during the course of the year?
No, I mean, I think you try not to let that stuff get to you too much. Obviously some of the bigger games, people could probably guess,
Yep.
you know, but maybe the Virginia game at Audi Field was a cool opportunity. But I'm more thinking of them not so much as like in that sense, but more just as like, wow, that was a really cool experience. So there's just all these games, there's really cool experiences and things that I'm gonna remember for a long time. And the fact that we've kind of strung them together here has been cool as well.
Speaking of Virginia, you guys didn't get off to like the perfect start last week, right? Like it was kind of a little bit more
Yeah.
sluggish and slow. I guess twofold. One, how were you able to overcome that? But more importantly, do you think it might have been beneficial in a way that it wasn't a perfect game and it's given you guys maybe something to focus on this week as you get ready for Princeton?
Yeah, I think it's never a bad thing to face a little challenge. I think honestly they're just a really good team. Virginia was, and we
Yeah,
came out. It
they're
took us
okay.
kind of a while to to figure out some stuff offensively, and then I think Luke really got going at the face-off
Hmm.
X, and that kind of really was the difference in terms of the second and third quarter. So yeah, I think it's certainly not, it's never a bad thing to have a little adversity. Obviously we'd like to start a little bit better, and that's a focus for us this week is kind of coming out of the gates a little bit better, which I think is something we've done, pretty well all year. So just trying to kind of keep that going, and so not the start we were looking for, but it was good to see us kind of bounce back and get going again.
All right, I've been kind of avoiding the thing, but it's funny. I was talking to John last week, and I asked him like, "Hey, do you try to block out all of the stuff when it comes to Virginia?" And he was like, "No, we embrace it. Like we embrace that type of stuff. We know exactly what's there and what happened in past tournaments, and we talk about it. We're not trying to hide from it in any way. There is the possibility of what could be on Monday. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the idea that you could be going up against your former team in a place that I know you care about for a national championship on Monday afternoon?
Yeah, I mean it's a possibility for sure. They're a great team, and I'm really really happy for those guys. I love those guys. I love Coach Busick. I love playing for Coach Busick, Coach Stevens, the whole staff there. I love those coaches. A lot of my best friends are still there. So I learned a lot of lessons at Cornell. I think one of the biggest ones is just the greatest sign of respect you could show someone as a competitor is to compete as hard as you can. So
Mm-hmm.
if it comes to it on Monday, I'm going to go out there as I always try to do and compete as hard as I can, and I know that they're going to do the same. But obviously we got a big one on
Of
Saturday
course,
first against
right.
a really good Princeton team. But
I get it.
um, yeah,
You can't look past anything, if you don't get that opportunity. I totally understand exactly what you're saying. It's just,
right.
it's kind of a big deal, that possibility, John. That's just sort of all that is.
Yeah,
You referenced not playing last year, right? Where did you have any questions? Did you have any doubts yourself? I mean, obviously you're still training, you're still playing. Like, did you have any concerns about what you were going to be coming into this season after going through a year of not playing? And we all know what everybody went through in 2020.
yeah, I think so. I think yeah, I think there was certainly doubts before the year personally. I felt like in right before kind of the pandemic hit, I was playing some of the best ball of my career, and so that kind of made it especially frustrating for me when COVID hit because I felt like I kind of figured some stuff out. So I was worried about how that stuff translated, and then I was lucky to get off to a decent start I think this year, and I scored early in the first game, which I think really helped me kind of just calm down and kind of settle some doubts that way.
I mean, it's something where like once you've done it, once you like you're like, oh yeah, I'm good, right? Like it's still lacrosse. I can still do
Yeah.
this type of deal at that point. You the idea of winning a national championship. Can you put into words what it would mean for you to cap your collegiate career this way?
I not to be cliche, but there are no words, right? It's every little kid's dream when you grow up playing, and you know, it's just a cool thing to have the opportunity to play for a title and to kind of be remembered with these guys forever. And I think that's what we're playing for. Is we're playing for the you know for this team to kind of have that experience together and to be able to share that experience together kind of forever. So it would just be incredible to be just a testament also to so many people who have helped me get here in my life and my career. So kind of been thinking back about a lot of those people over the last few weeks, and just really want to go and put it together and put the best foot forward. I think that was the hard part about last year was
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't just that we didn't get to win the national championship last year at Cornell. We didn't even get to compete, and I think that's kind of the focus for me this week is just whatever happens, just kind of put your best foot forward and leave it all out there. And whatever happens, happens. That's sports, but to the extent that we can control our own energy and our own competitiveness, just try to do the best we can.
All right, so I'm gonna. This is a unique thing that I'm gonna do. I've never done this before in an interview, and I hope that you'll have fun with it,
Okay.
because you're a journalism student, because you're now in the podcasting world, because you know all about this. I want you to rate me as an interviewer. Would you be willing to do that, John? Would
Okay.
you be willing to say like, here's where I think your strengths are. Here's where, frankly, I think you could probably do a little bit better. I'm just being honest with you. Like, can you rate me as an interview, knowing everything that you now know about journalism?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
And be you know what? I
obviously.
need you to know this, like, because you don't know me at all. I'm totally cool. You can have fun. You can tell me I'm crap. You can do that, and we can have fun with it. All right. You don't just have to say, well, you were great. That's no fun. You can have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still learning a lot about interviews. Every time I do one of these, I'm learning a lot. I mean, I don't know. I thought you did a good job. I don't know. Maybe pick better guests next time. That's the only thing I'd say.
That's awesome. I appreciate your self-deprecation, my friend. You're a damn good player, and we were happy to have
Thank you.
you on, man. You're a fascinating chat. All right, let's get plugs in for you. Twitter, Instagram, the podcast. Let's get all the plugs in, man.
Yeah. So Twitter is J Donville 13, and Instagram I believe is J Donville 3. Um, yeah, J Donville 3 on Instagram, and then the podcast is Back of the Bird.
Back.
We're on Twitter, Instagram at Back of the Bird on Twitter and Instagram, and yeah,
That's awesome. And you legitimately committed to the bid. I saw the picture. You sat on the back of the plane when you guys were flying out to Columbus
yep,
last week.
yep, we did.
That is I
We
I
sure did.
I greatly appreciate your commitment to the bit, man. I greatly appreciate it. Hey, John, a lot of fun chatting with you, dude. It's been a lot of fun watching you play this season. It's been incredibly fun watching your team play. However this plays out, it has been a great joy watching you guys all year long. But I am rooting like hell for you guys to win a national championship on Monday. Thank you so much for taking the time for us this week. Best of luck this weekend. All right.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.